Good evening, everybody. I just didn't bother to get a filter because I can't use filters when I am teaching. So you might as well see me for who I am. Hi, guys. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Let's. Our friend all the way from Canada, my partner. Hi, hi. Hey, guys. Okay, some names that I didn't see. Hi. How's it going?
Hello, partner.
How's
Well,
it going?
if you don't have a filter, I will have one. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna trick anyone because they will see that, phrasal verbs. Let's do this. Let's tag and get this comment up there. Is it up there?
It is. So live
Thank
classes in August, phrasal verbs. Class
Yes.
1, 10 phrasal verbs, informal or okay for work.
So here is the deal. MC knows the deal already that I'm talking to everyone, all right? Everyone who is here with us tonight. The deal is August has begun. August will be phrasal verb month. We're going to talk about phrasal verbs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Brazil time here. And you will be able to see the post. We will leave the post on IGTV if you want to watch it later. But we will also try to include phrasal verbs. Bless you.
Oh,
We will
use the
try
hands instead of elbows, sorry.
to include phrasal verbs in other posts too, throughout the month. Make it a theme, make it a whole theme, And today we're going to begin with phrasal verbs, formal or informal. I get this question a lot. Some people ask me if phrasal verbs can be used in the workplace, in the academic world, or not, if they are necessarily informal. No, they're not necessarily informal. However, many of them are. So I want to mix. We're going to do some of my phrasal verbs that I thought of bringing into the class and mix with your requests. So we want to hear from you guys. If you think of a phrasal verb, if you want to know whether or not you should use it at work or not, or maybe ideas and you want to convey this idea using a phrasal verb, whatever you want in terms of phrasal verb at work, whether it's formal, informal, how can I use this? We will ask you to leave it in the comments. I will teach you some, and I will also ask you to use them in sentences, and then I can see, and MC can see whether or not it works, whether or not you're using it right. And MC is here to share her experience at work, how much she uses them, and if she sees native speakers using them or not, how it is in the real world, in her, reality, working in Canada in a big company. So MC, my friend, could you get started and share with us what your thoughts are?
So when it comes to phrasal verb, I don't recall going through a day without using a bunch of them. So sometimes you're not going to even be aware that you're using phrasal verbs because it's so natural and it's part of the day-to-day life. And if you don't, you're just going to spend 30 more minutes to say the same thing, So that's reality. That's just what it is. You got to face it. You got to learn them and roll with it.
Yeah. And do you think that this fear of sounding informal is in any way true?
Well, I guess not some. I see a lot of people struggling trying to learn the phrasal verbs and not so much scared of, well, maybe, or afraid of using them wrong in wrong places, wrong situations, or wrongly,
Kind of like, as long as I throw it in, if it's right or wrong, I'm gonna sound cool.
Exactly. So that's what I feel
And do
more
they
than a
sound cool?
concern.
Do they sound cool?
I won't say cool because in a work environment, you're not too worried about sounding cool. If you were in university, probably you are. but you want to blend in as much as you can, and you want to
That's a better
convey the
description.
message just like they do. You want to speak the same language. You don't want people like trying to decode what you're saying, you know?
Uh-huh. That's a good way to put it. You want to blend in. You don't want to be the outsider. You don't want to be
No.
the different one, the one everyone has to decode, as you said, as you put, very well put actually. You want to blend in. So that's the lesson we have for you guys today. Yes, phrasal verbs are super important. And I might add that I recently told this to some of my students. The thing about phrasal verbs is we get so worked up about learning them and about using them that we forget that we need basic vocabulary. We need to be able to express ourselves no matter what we say. So if you struggle to communicate, if you're telling a story about what happened last weekend, as if you were sharing a story with your friends, something simple, not even related to work, let's imagine, and you still lack words, you don't know how to say this, you don't know how to say that, work on your vocabulary overall. Don't focus only on phrasal verbs and forget about the other words, adjectives to describe things, to give quality, and verbs and nouns. Don't forget about the rest, okay? Don't forget that we have a lot of things to learn besides phrasal verbs. They are super important. Yes, they are. They make your English, like MC said, objective. They make your English natural, but don't forget the rest. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna give you my first phrasal verb for the evening. And as I said, leave your phrasal verbs here. Ask us, is this cool to use at work? Is this too informal? How can I use this? Just leave your questions, leave your phrasal verbs here. I will be explaining, and MC is gonna be helping me out here, all right? So the first phrasal verb that I have is, I have my but pretty images. Okay, the first one is to look up. This phrasal verb is specific. It means to try to find specific information, especially if you are thinking about a system, a dictionary, or a book. So you don't look for information in the system. You look up the information in the system. So I need to find information. I'm going to look it up in the system. I'm going to look it up on Google. I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. So it is not informal. It is actually very necessary and very useful for you in your everyday life. And it is separable. What is a separable phrasal verb? A phrasal verb that you can put in which you can change the object, the order. So in the first example, look the information up in the system, or look up the information in the system. Information is between look and up, or after look up. Both are okay. MC, do you see any other examples or situations where you could use this phrasal verb? If you guys see it also, leave it in the comments.
Yeah, so this is pretty common. We hear that a lot. So I'm receiving an echo here. Is that okay?
No, it's my watch started talking to me.
Oh my God, and I thought it was
All I have to
myself.
do
So
is
look at that. So
start
going
speaking
crazy.
English. I start speaking English and then it goes nuts. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
you're talking to me.
and
I'm
look at
not.
that. I thought it was an echo, so it's me losing it. But anyway, part of life, end of the day kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
look it up is pretty common, and I can imagine like several situations where you're gonna need to use that. Otherwise, like I said, you're gonna spend much more words and many more words and much more time to convey the same message. So look it up. It's like, well, I'm not sure about that, but I can look it up and I'll get back to you.
And
That
what about look for? Weird, right?
Yeah, I'll look for that information. Yeah, it doesn't convey the same message. People are probably gonna get it, but it's not the right way to say it if that's the intent of the sentence. So
And
sometimes I hear people saying, and maybe I'm saying it wrong, so you correct me, please, if I'm mistaken. But it's like I'll look into it. So instead of like it's not necessarily look up something. Oh, spoil, really?
no, that's great because it's the next one.
Oh, okay,
We
perfect.
did
So
not rehearse this, people. It's like
You
in
are
sync.
welcome. And I'm here battling with my lights here, so I have a very fancy way of putting some lights on. So it's just a matter of logging into my computer. So yeah. But anyway, you're welcome. And I didn't know I was going to transition so well to the next phrasal verb.
Awesome. So look into, you were saying that it's something you use a lot as well?
Yeah, we say that all the time. And sometimes this is not a matter of, well, I need to Google it, or I need to go and check in some specific sources. You just
Mm-hmm.
need to deep dive in that subject. So that's when you use the look into. I just need to understand a little better the situation, maybe understand the nitty-gritty of it. And that's when you use look into the matter. So nothing
Yes.
formal about this, as I mean, I hear that all the time. And
Yeah.
I can even say that I use more look into than look it up.
Absolutely. You're right to use it because, as Haiza was saying here, she's saying look into sounds fancy because it is the perfect way to say, I will check whatever it is you're saying, I will analyze it, and I will get back to you. So look into means to analyze, to look deep into something. The preposition gives it, all right, gives it away. And when we say look up, it is about specific information. So it's not so commonly used. If let's say if I'm asking for the name of a client, something really specific, and you're like, okay, I don't know now, but I'll look it up in the system and I'll get back to you. It's so specific. And look into is any matter, any situation. Oh, have you seen the latest data? Oh, no, but I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. I'll look into it. I'll study it. I'll analyze it. It's more generic than look up specific information. You look up a word in the dictionary. You look up the name of the client in the system. That's the difference between them. That's why you use look into so much more often than look up.
Yeah,
And
for example,
both of them.
today I was using the look into situation expression because we have an investigation going on, and I just had like pieces here and there, and the story was not adding up. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was asking for help, like, can you look into that, please? Because you have the rest of the puzzle, the pieces of the
Mm-hmm.
puzzle, and then you're gonna be able to support me in the task. So
Yeah.
yes, look into is like hard to hard to say you can go a week without it.
Yes. It substitutes so many, like, can you study this, analyze this, take care of this? It's so many words in one. No, it saves a lot of time, saves up a lot of time. Any other phrasal verbs that you guys want us to tell you if they are informal or formal, if you should use it at work or not? Also, thank you for the little hearts that you are leaving. It helps
Mhm.
us on Instagram, to look good in the face of Zuckerberg, the Lord of Instagram. So leave your little heart if you will. The next one, if you don't, I'm keeping up with the comments, all right? If you don't send anything, I'm going to move into the next one. Okay, we have one, work it out. Okay, work out problems, which means to solve problems or figure out problems. Before I give my opinion, MC, what do you think about work it out? How often do you use it and do you hear it?
Well, I hear it a lot, but not necessarily in the workplace. So work it out, I hear more in situations like non-work related, and I'm trying to understand why. But when
Mm-hmm.
I hear work it out, I work it out, it feels, if I'm using at work, it feels kind of non-structured kind of thing and kind of approach, meaning that you don't have it all together and you don't have the control of the situation, and you're just gonna either work it out or, and in my head it rings a bell of work around it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just me, maybe it's not like necessarily a correlation between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it sounds like, okay, you I'm not sure if you're gonna deal with that. I'm not sure if you
Uh-huh.
got the handle of that.
Uh-huh. Or maybe you're just gonna wing it. You're just gonna
Yeah,
improvise,
like I
and
said, work around instead of like doing
mm-hmm.
the right thing. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like I'll work it out. Yeah. So we need to find a solution to work out the problem. If it's a little more constructed, would you say that
Yes.
it's okay?
Much better, much better.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just I'll work it out. No, not good
Mm.
for the workplace, right?
Well,
But
no,
if you,
you can use for the workplace. You just need to be aware of the message you're sending.
yes,
So
great, great.
that's the thing. I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
you're not necessarily saying or telling me that you have it under control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So
just be
for a
careful.
moment, I'll be like, should I trust you or not?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And in terms of we need to find the best solution to work out this problem. That's okay. To solve the
Perfect.
problem, then
Perfect.
the whole structure of the sentence is a little more uh, constructed, right? Well based, so you don't leave any room for insecurities, right?
Yeah,
Anderson,
and I mean, we can even check that with other people as well, because that's my point of view. So maybe let's just be cautious about that, okay? Let's just
uh-huh.
remember that this is my personal opinion.
Yeah.
We can check with other people too.
Yeah, it's a feeling you have, right? It's a gut feeling.
Yes, it's a gut feeling, yeah.
Okay, good.
And we have
I'm just
other,
gonna go. Let me see here. I think we have one. Okay, Anderson asked about reach out. Reach out in what sense, Anderson? You mean like to ask someone for help or to offer help? Is that what you mean to reach out? Um, reach out to you, reach out to me, right? So he reached out to me to find
yeah.
out about what my thoughts were on the matter.
I
Um,
can safely say that 50 or 60% of my emails, I'll write something around reach out. So I'm going to
yeah.
say, okay, don't hesitate to reach out to me in case you have any questions, or please reach out. And
Mm-hmm.
it can be more formal, informal. I'll just
Great.
throw it there because it's always like simple and the person knows, count on me kind of thing.
Uh-huh, right. So instead of saying keep in touch or get in touch with me, which would be a little colder, reach out can navigate between the count on me and a little more formal.
And also I use that in a sense that it's your accountability to solve whatever you need to solve, and you're gonna rely on me if necessary. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
reach out in case you need me. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I use that all the time.
Great, great, great. All right, we have one more. The next one is to bring a subject up. um, there are some phrasal verbs that, in my opinion, my personal opinion, are the best option. There's no other verb that will substitute the idea so well. It's not about mentioning a subject, it's about bringing up the subject. No one is talking about it, and then someone brings up the subject. Hey, what about that problem? So in the sentence, you see nobody brought up the subject as it wasn't comfortable for everyone. So no one touched the subject, no one talked about it, no one mentioned it, no one began to talk about it. It's that idea of beginning to talk about something.
You
So
know
it's a
what's
great
behind
phrasal
it?
verb. What? Sorry?
Intent. So when you say the brought up something, it has intent behind it. So it's
That's
not
right.
like ooh, randomly somebody brought up a subject. It can be randomly, but the person who is bringing up something is intentionally doing something.
That's right. That's right. It's not just he said, oh, he told a story, he said this, he said that. Said is more neutral, mentioned is more neutral, but bringing up, of course, it does convey intent a little more. So it's a great phrasal verb that you will need. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, now that you brought up the subject, I think we should discuss it a little deeper. Let's look into the situation. Let's talk it over. Now that you brought up the subject. So you can use it in, the workplace. Normally, you don't have to have any restrictions in regards to this phrasal verb specifically. Any other phrasal verbs, guys? Any other
I guess we're good.
requests? Send them our way.
Yeah, the last one was from Anderson with the reach out. Yeah.
Yeah. This one,
I
I
love
was,
it.
uh, this one we were
Friends.
talking about the other day. I don't remember if it was with you. Was it with you or during one of the classes that I don't remember, one of the classes that I was teaching to our students. But this one is really good. If you have Botox, you won't be able to do this one. Since I don't, I am.
I do have Botox, so take a look.
Yeah, so MC is not the best person to explain this phrasal verb. I can't do it. Uh, so Okay, great example. Okay, so you guys all know Ross, right? And he had a girlfriend once, and that girlfriend was his student, you know? He was a professor at college, and she was his student. Actually, she had been his student the semester before, and then she wasn't his student anymore, but she was a student at the university, and they started dating. And then when someone confronted him and, hey Ross, is that a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea? Isn't it prohibited? And he said, well, no, it's not prohibited. It's not against the against company policy. It's just frowned upon. So when people look at you and they hear that you are a professor dating a student, they frown. They close their eyebrows like this and they look at you, you know, disapproving your actions. So when someone frowns upon someone's attitudes, actions, behavior, they are disapproving that behavior. So Ross's behavior of dating Elizabeth was frowned upon, but actually it was prohibited. He almost lost his job because of that.
Yeah, he
But
just didn't know. He just didn't know. That was great.
yeah, he thought it was just frowned upon. So it's not against company policy, but it is frowned upon. It is something that people don't like, something that people disapprove, socially speaking, right? Socially speaking. So it's a good phrasal verb. It's very formal, actually. It's not something you use all the time. You say, she didn't like my dinner. She frowned upon my dinner. No.
No, definitely
Can
not.
you imagine someone saying, like, my risotto was frowned upon? You
Yeah.
don't say that.
So basically, this is a heads up for you. So don't start showing off your new phrasal verb because that one is not suitable for every moment. Okay.
Yes, it is. It is very, very, it's more on the formal side, actually, you know? So
Yeah.
see how phrasal verbs don't have a rule. They don't have a, oh, it's always informal or always formal rule. It will vary depending on the idea.
Absolutely.
It depends.
So
All
I
right.
don't hear that often in the workplace, just so you know. Yes. So this one
Yeah.
definitely, I don't remember. Maybe once or twice, but when it comes to the workplace, in my environment, corporate world, it's more around, no, this is in compliance with our
Oh,
policies. This is not in compliance. You're doing it
good.
right or you're not doing it right. So
Uh-huh.
it's more like black and white kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
not so much situations where people are going to use the frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because frowned upon is the gray area, as you said. There is no written rule about it. There is no law against it. There is no, compliance terms describing this or that. But compliance is a very in term nowadays. It's in to talk about compliance, accountability, and so on. So it makes sense that it's more used, and it's important for us to mention that, right?
But shut me up because I have the best example now for frowned upon. And it's like, it's not that I've heard about that, but it's a situation that describes this so well. So hear me out.
Okay.
Here in Canada, well, especially in Northern Ontario, where I am, 8 months of the year is pretty cold. Out of the eight, 6 months is going to snow. And if it's snowing, you're going to have your outside shoes and your inside shoes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Your
let's say you're,
outside shoes,
am I
your
out,
outside.
or
She has a Canadian accent already. It's not
play
outside,
my
it's
fake
outside.
American accent, my outside shoes and my inside shoes.
I had to make fun of you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
it's
even,
cute. I actually think it's cute.
yeah, I don't even notice that anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, when you're coming in the office, you're expected to change your shoes. So if people see
Oh.
you using your outside shoes inside, oh damn it, inside the company or inside the office space, they are not going to say it's against the rules or you're doing something completely wrong, but they are going to frown upon that. So you better have your neat, clean pair of shoes just so you can change it and go to work.
Oh, so you gotta carry like a pair of ballerinas or something in your bag so you can use it, wear
Not
it
a
in. Yeah.
ballerina. So it's like like the shoes that I use. daily to go to work in Brazil, for example, or like the shoes that you probably have on right now, or
Okay.
like
Flat shoes.
regular
Flats.
shoes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, flats, whatever. That you usually either you leave it in your company. Let's say you have your own desk. Let's say
Oh.
you have your own stuff, or if you have like a shoe rack or something, you're gonna leave it there, and then
Oh.
you're expected to change it.
Okay, I see.
So I remember a girl saying to me one time, well, especially when I'm in Toronto and it's more formal environment, well, you better not come with your stained pair of shoes, like full of like
Mm.
ice
No
and
mud, water.
salt.
Wow.
Well,
Okay,
ice and
so
salt, it's a bad combination that's going to cause stain in your shoes, probably, depending on what they're made of. But yes,
okay,
people are
so
going to frown upon that.
okay, so basically you have to go around barefoot every day for a little while until you get to your desk.
No, not necessarily. So you're allowed to walk inside with your outside shoes, but it's
Okay.
one, make sure you clean it up before you enter the building. Usually they have kind of a shoe cleaner kind of thing at the beginning, at the entrance. And then just go to your desk or to the shoe rack or something, change it, and
Don't
then
you
done. You're
dare.
good to go.
Don't you dare go into the bathroom.
No, no, you're not expected. Yeah, and nobody's gonna say, okay, you're doing something completely wrong. Nobody's gonna call your attention unless they are friends of yours. They're just gonna frown upon.
They're just gonna look at you weirdly
Yeah, like
and judge you from head to toe.
can't believe you're not changing shoes.
And here comes a foreigner from a tropical country that has no clue whatsoever how to deal with snow. Canadians are indeed very polite, even with their carpets.
They are, yeah.
They are super polite. So let's move on to the next phrasal verb. Looking forward. This one, piece of cake. We've already talked about looking forward to or look forward to. And it's good. Is it good, MC? Let me know. Is it good to finish an email
And
like
not
that?
only emails, sometimes you're in some meetings and you're like, okay, looking forward to doing that with you, or yeah, sure, looking forward to having that conversation. Yes, absolutely, looking forward to your email or something. So it can be an irony. I sometimes use that as an irony, like, yeah, looking forward to that budget meeting that we're gonna have later. And like depending,
Uh-huh.
you can play around with that phrasal verb, definitely. And it's something that, yeah, it's common in the workplace.
Because it's nice, right? It's not informal. It's not like it's polite at the same time. It's not formal, but it's great to use. I mean, I think it's a good way to wrap something and leave a little bit of expectation, towards the future. So looking forward to our next meeting. Looking forward to hearing from you, to helping you with whatever issue you have. It's a good connector between, now and the future, isn't it? But this
Absolutely.
one is this one is it's more familiar for us.
Yes, and
Next.
it used to be my nightmare when I was studying English for the first time and kind of a basic level English kind of person. But you know what? You can't run away from that. So just
Yeah.
acknowledge that you're gonna have to deal with looking forward to ing at some point in life, and
Yes.
that's the only thing you need to remember.
Yeah.
Ing, because
And you're
it's
not
counterintuitive. You don't
yes.
remember very well. Yeah,
And it's not looking for. You're not looking for anything. You're looking forward. Forward. I
forward.
also see
Yeah,
some people using it as like, I'm looking for. No, I'm looking forward. It's a whole other preposition. It
yeah,
means something completely different. So forward, not for. I picked this one to rule out. It's not that I
great.
am ruling out that option, but I do not think it is the best. I guess it's one of those phrasal verbs that are difficult to use. Like what's a synonym for this? Something you should not consider doing, something you are excluding, an option that you are excluding. Like if you need to make a decision, you have some options and you say, no, you know what? This is not going to happen. I'm not going to do this. So I am ruling out this option. Or because at the end of the year usually you give a bonus to your employees, or the company you work at gives bonuses, If the company is not doing well, maybe because of the pandemic, you may hear someone say, you know what, bonuses are ruled out this year. The company is ruling out bonuses, removing that. It's off the table. It's another expression, right? It's off the table. It's not going to be an option for this year, because it's not going to happen because of the pandemic, for instance. Do you see this?
It is a great phrasal verb. I don't hear that often, so at least I'm trying to think about here. So there are so many possibilities and many opportunities to use ruled out, and why am I not paying attention at this? Yeah, so I guess we have an opportunity here, but definitely, especially if you're talking about scenario A, B, C,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're discussing if something's going to be approved or not approved, it's something, it's an easy way to explain what's going to happen next. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's very useful for that, because what how else can you say it? It's one of those
Yeah, you
easy,
can,
fast
yeah,
go
and
to.
you're gonna say, I'm not gonna consider that option or something, but it's not as impactful as just saying
Yes.
ruling out.
Oh, Kara is giving her testimony. I use that a lot. It's very
Oh,
useful
yeah.
in a lab. Great, Carol. Great example in a lab.
Yes, in the lab.
Experiments. You rule out this theory, this hypothesis. Is that how you do it? I don't know exactly how your work works.
I'm guessing
So
that too. So
yeah,
I
so
hope
this
you're
is
not.
ruled out. Yeah,
Yeah.
this because of the results. Exactly. Options, testing, experimenting, scenario A, B, C. And that's a great example. Okay, or in the academic world, then it's going to be very, very used. Um, okay, this one is cool too. To follow through. To follow through means to do everything you need to do, whatever you need to do, and finish something completely until it's done completely. It's such a rich phrasal verb because it also has that long explanation. He never follows through with. You can use preposition with or not. Okay, I have more examples here because I thought this one was a little more complex to explain. So when I say somebody never follows through with his personal projects, it may be you watching us right now. Then you start paying the gym and you don't go to the gym. You start the diet, you don't finish the diet. You say you're gonna read a book a month in January and you don't. And what else? You say you're gonna save 10% of your salary and you are shopping online, going on Amazon every night. So you have a project, but you don't follow through. You don't go until the end. All right. Let me use that very not idiomatic, non-idiomatic way to say it, way to put it. So follow through. If you have followed through all the exercises that your teacher has assigned, you should see great evolution. So if you have done everything she said from beginning to end, if you have followed through all the exercises, you will have great evolution. The city has raised money. Actually, I have this one on screen. The city has raised the money for more teachers. Now it has to follow through and hire them. Complete the task, follow through, and hire them. So you can follow through something. You can follow through with your project, with your plan, with what you're trying to do, or just follow through. You don't necessarily need a compliment. Just meaning, just do it. Finish what you started. Um, so one more, he decided to follow through with his original plan. So he had a plan. He decided, no, that's where I'm going. That's my, my path. So he decided to follow through, continue until the end. All right. Any other situations, MC? Maybe this one you haven't seen so much. This is a very specific one.
So follow up is something that you actually hear all the time, every day, 100 times a day. But then follow through, you hear in some specific moments. So let's say you are revisiting the strategy for the next year or for the next 5 years. So that's the time when you call out the need to follow through the things you or the
Mm-hmm.
initiatives or the projects or whatever you was decided before. Also,
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about a feedback, and I guess it's one of the situations that you described as well. So this is another situation where you're probably gonna use follow through if that's something, if that's an improvement opportunity for a person, or if it's a strength that that person has. And yeah, so it's more common in specific scenarios if I'm talking about the corporate world. So it's not a day-to-day kind of phrasal verb, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely one that's going to translate well if you're talking about the need, or if you're talking about the fact that we need to stick to it.
Yeah. And what's interesting about follow up and follow through is the use of the preposition. And I know that to many of you guys, it seems like they are random. The prepositions are random and they don't make sense. Sometimes, many times they don't, but many times they do. When I say follow up, the idea of up is used in many phrasal verbs as kind of like reaching a certain level. When I say I need to keep up with the team, that means the team is here. I need to be here too. I need to maintain the level, the speed. Oh, I need to catch up with my group. Everybody is running fast. I'm not. I need to catch up with them. So follow up would be, okay, continue. Whatever you're doing, the plan is going. So, all right, let's continue the task. Yesterday, I need to complete today. So I need to reach every day a new level, let's say a new step along the process. And through has the idea of entering and leaving, of completing something. Like when you go through a tunnel, you start the tunnel and you finish the tunnel. So through has that idea of completion. Follow through will have the same logic of completion, and follow up will have that logic of dynamic movement. Something is happening, follow up, you keep going and you keep going. All right, and I have one that, to be honest, I just put it here because I heard it the other day and I thought it was so financial world. It was so stock market, and I decided to add it. I've been watching. Actually, I finished the first season of Sweet Magnolias on Netflix.
How
It's
can
such a
you
such
watch so many TV series? I'm shocked.
at lunchtime in when I'm taking a shower, and that's when I do. It's like a
Yeah, maybe I
podcast.
need to stop rewatching Friends all over again.
Maybe,
And
maybe you
maybe
do.
yeah, I do
So
that,
to
okay,
buy
people?
to buy in the series, there was a scene where one of the women, there are three women main characters, one of them is a chef and she owns a restaurant. And then there's a silent partner that just walks into the show. You don't even know that she did have a silent partner. And he says, I need money for my brother. I need you to buy me out. So he needed her to pay the 50% or whatever percent he owned of the restaurant, so that he would leave the partnership, leave the business, and she would be the owner of the business. So buying somebody's share of the business is to buy somebody out of the business. See the preposition making sense? The owner of the restaurant wanted to buy out her silent partner, and she did. I think she did. I don't remember. I think so. I think she figured out a way to get the money for it. So this is very used in the stock market, in the business world, where people are buying each other out, buying the other person's part. Instead of saying she bought his part of the business, she bought him out of the business. And with that, I think we wrap up the class tonight. There were not 10 on my part, but we completed with the others, and maybe I can leave the two that I didn't have time to say because it's already 9:39. I can transform them into posts for the week.
Did you like today? Because I enjoyed it a lot.
I did too. I had loads of fun. I had loads of fun today. I like hearing your stories, your experiences at work and how things work, because I think we are the dynamic duo, me with the technical information and you with the real life.
And
Yeah,
the
this works.
struggle, the everyday struggle, people, because I'm not here representing any perfection. You're going to listen to me. You're going to see that, well, we all have improvements and we have a long way to go. But you know
Yeah.
what? This is real life. We're never 100% ready. We're just there living the life.
Yeah. And it sure paints a picture, right? Hi, it sure does. The stories paint a picture really well, so you guys can see how it feels like and what it really is like in the real world. Thank you guys so much for watching, for being here with us. So you already know, August is phrasal verbs every Wednesday, different approaches, different ways of looking at it, like we did with prepositions. And you can watch it on IGTV too if you want. But the interaction you only have if you watch live, if you come in and watch with us at 9 p.m. Wednesdays, Brazil time. Thank you, guys. Thank you, MC.
Thank you, partner.
I love your glasses.
Thank you. It's fancy with that filter and the glasses. I feel like,
I
ooh,
know.
a very VIP.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great week and weekend.